Hey, this is Rich over at TVP Live with another Quick Tips Tutorials brought to you by Adobe Photoshop Elements Tutorials Group. And let's jump right in with today's poster. Wanted to know how to create a new background here. And she wanted to crop just her face and part of her shoulders in the photo. And sometimes you have to think backwards. So instead of trying to figure out how to introduce a new background to her, why don't we take her and introduce her to a new background? So what I did is I went online and looked for a similar photo of a similar top black blouse. And what I found was this. And what we're going to do is introduce her into this photo here, and we'll match it up, and then we can crop it as needed. So let's go back to her and do the work that we need to do to cut her out so that we can bring it into the other photo. So first what I want to do is fix the external areas like down here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the smudge brush. Let's get rid of some of the hand by smudging her shirt down like this. And we'll get rid of all that stuff later, but it's just easier if none of this is in the way. I'm going to bring her and stretch her shirt down like this. So we don't need any of the hand. We'll be able to use all this to fade it out a little bit easier later on. And once we're done with that, all we got to do is cut her out. So I'm going to grab the eraser. I'm going to go ahead and unlock the picture. I'm going to get a really small point, soft eraser. The brush is a soft brush here. Oh, let's say about 5 point. And we'll start from down here. You just basically just draw carefully everything out. I can do shift click. Right, click it once, hold shift down and click it again to do line at a time. Come up to the hair. I'll do the same thing on the other side. Once we get up to the hair, I'm going to make the brush a little bit bigger, like a 20 point, so it's got soft edges so it blends better with our new background. And then we'll have to fix it a little bit later once we introduce it into the new background also. Once we finish drawing around the whole area that we need, I'm going to grab the polygon tool here, and I'm going to go ahead and polygon her out. I'll start over here, come straight across to this point here. Once we get to the bottom here, I'm going to double click, which will close the loop of the polygon and leave us these marching ants. I'm going to go ahead and zoom out. And all I have to do is right click, select inverse, which selects everything else but her. I'll hit delete. And that leaves us, and I'll do a Control D to deselect. It leaves us with exactly what we want to keep. Now we want to bring that over to this photo here, this project here. How do we do that? We just left click, grab her, drag it up. You gotta make sure it's unlocked. Drag her up on top of the tab over here, and then bring it down and let go. And there we go. There she is. All we got to do now is kind of just match her up over here like this. And this is looking pretty good. Forget about the left side. We can cut that out of the other image. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take that other image, grab the eraser, and I can just like paint this whole left side out. Or I can just take the polygon and cut it out. Now what we want to do is match her up with the right side of the image underneath. I'll take the image underneath and I'm going to turn it a little bit sideways. And that's looking pretty good right around there. I can take the image in the back and make it a little bit skinnier, which then again I have to move her over a little bit. Once we got her placed where we want it, we can go back to the hair here, and with the eraser, let's get a pretty large, like a 50 point, and we can start erasing a little bit more of the hair so that it takes out some of the stuff from behind, from her old background. And that's looking pretty good there. Once we got that where we want it, all we got to do is crop the photo and we're done. So let's go ahead and grab the cropping tool and crop the picture where we want it. Let's say something like that. And click OK. And there we go. That's pretty much it. It's really simple. And lastly, we want to make sure that this shoulder matches this one. So we can make sure we grab that layer, grab Enhance Lighting Brightness, and we can change the brightness of that shoulder to match the other side. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Well, this is Rich calling it quits for this tutorial, saying over and out.